And now we're going to look ahead to a potentially pivotal game for his team, Manchester United, this weekend.
Finished at Old Trafford, Manchester United 3, West Ham 0.
I think the results they're getting now will start to turn their season around.
Comes back towards Rasmus Højlund, who turns and fires in an amazing goal at the Trafford end.
The new Manchester United, after Fergie Manchester United, league titles shouldn't come up in the conversation with Manchester United fans anymore. Top 4. You 11 points off the top 4, okay?
I think the culture at Manchester United is wrong. I think the club...
From when? From what manager?
Well, I think since Sir Alex left.
Scratch beneath the surface, this group of players just aren't very good.
They've gone backwards and they don't have an identity.
It's so outdated.
Is it? Yeah.
It used to be one of the best, most iconic stadiums in the world.
The worst kept secret that Old Trafford is a bit of a midden for now. It really needs a good lick of paint and a hell of a lot more to enjoy the match day experience.
Who better to talk Manchester United than yourself, Flex? Obviously, you love the club. Currently 6th in the table, 38 points. I said at the top in my opening sort of package there that I feel like you might have turned a corner, or at least your forwards have turned a corner. You've started scoring goals now. Garnacho scored a couple. Højlund, I knew he was going to be good. Starting to look good as well. Look strong. Almost a bit...
Very strong.
Don't quote me on this properly, because I'm not saying he's Rooney, but that looks above his age, doesn't he? Like, he looks like he's a man already, like he could bully defenders.
It's a physical specimen, isn't he?
Yeah, it looks fantastic. What have you made of this little sort of up in form United that we've seen in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think...
Exactly.
No, and you're right. I think it is important to remember at this point that that's what it is. I think the biggest thing is that there were only a few teams who'd scored less than Manchester United. Now, I think Sheffield United, Burnley... I think even at one point Luton had scored more than Manchester United. Yeah. So scoring goals was a massive problem. The front line was not firing. Marcus Rashford has been nowhere near the levels that he was last year, scoring 30 goals, his best return, best season, way off it. Yeah. Rasmus Højlund, so much pressure on his shoulders.
Too much pressure. No support from Anthony Martial whether through injury or inavailability or exactly. Yeah.
Garnacho has had to be fast-tracked. To be honest,
a lot of them, right?
He's having to play on the right-hand side now because
Højlund,
Anthony hasn't. Yeah. Exactly. Mainu's coming to the side, and that's the problem at Manchester United. I mean, it was fantastic against West Ham when you sort of see that iconic picture of the three of them, Kobbie Mainoo and Alejandro Garnacho and Rasmus Højlund all sitting there. Fantastic. And you look at that as a Man United fan and you say, I can invest my stocks into that. It's rough times now, but we've got a core of young players there. Those three can be the future, but they need so much more. Just the fact that Manchester United need those types of players to come in and do it all now. Rasmus Højlund can't say, need a game out, just need to find my feet. There's nobody else. Kobbie Mainoo's come into the fold. It's like, Kobbie, we need you to do it now.
Yeah.
Alejandro Garnacho had his breakthrough season last year. This season's supposed to be maybe a few more starts. No. The guy we bought for £80 million, Anthony, is not doing enough. Marcus Rashford's not doing enough. Sancho's gone. Yeah. We need you to do it now. So that is a big problem for Manchester United. So, of course, with that is going to come inconsistencies. And that front three right now is probably in a good moment, in particularly Garnacho and Rasmus Højlund. But there's still a long way to go for Manchester United.
A long way. And we're going to go deeper into, the game that you've got coming up against Villa, going to Villa Park. They've been a bit hit and miss in the last month or so, but it's still a very, very good team. Very hard to beat at Villa Park. Do you still think you can make fourth? Again, you're 6 right now, 38 points. Do you still think it's on the cards, realistically?
It is on the cards. Of course it's on the cards. However, I do believe if we don't beat Aston Villa, or actually if we lose to Aston Villa, I think it's done. Because you're talking about the swing of points and how mentality comes into it.
Yeah, it's a 6-pointer really, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Playing against Aston Villa, after the game, we could be 15 points off. Currently 8 points off them now. It could go up to 11, or it could go down to 5 if you win.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean?
5 to 11.
5 to 11. Yeah. It's too big a swing, and you've got Spurs.
Would you take a point now?
Nah, Manchester United need in terms of turning a corner and saying you're serious about putting the first half of the season behind you and trying to go on a run towards the end to this part of the season. Manchester United need to go to Villa and win.
Let's switch back to Manchester United. I did ask the question before the break. Is it a sackable offence if United don't qualify for the Champions League? Let's welcome in Gareth, Manchester United fan. Gareth, sackable offence if you don't make top 4?
I wouldn't say sackable offence, but it would be a disaster if we didn't. We just need to get rid of a lot of dead weight Like Harry Maguire needs to go. Diego Dallo needs to go. I hate to admit it. Scott McTominay needs to go. Bruno Fernandes needs to go.
Oh, Bruno.
Yeah.
What is it about Bruno? What do you think it is?
He just throws his toys out the pram too much. He's just throwing his arms up all the time, and it's like a child being on the pitch. It's ridiculous, and he's supposed to be our captain. He's not leading by example at all.
What about Marcus Rashford? If a big bid coming for Marcus Rashford,
if we can get someone in like Ivan Toney or something, then yeah, get rid of him. Bring someone in who's younger, more hungry. But if we don't get someone in to replace him, because Rasmus Højlund is good. Get rid of get rid of what's his name?
Martial. The whole squad.
Yeah.
We can literally say everyone. And we can just go.
No,
Martial's definitely going.
Obviously, keep Højlund, keep Garnacho. He's doing fantastic. Obviously, they're young. I can see what Jim Ratcliffe's starting to do, and he's starting to bring the youth through, like Alex Ferguson used to do. He used to build a squad, reset after 4 years, build a squad, reset after 4 years. That's why I hope Jim Ratcliffe can bring in.
Sorry to cut across you, Gareth, but are you understanding what this means though? Like if you do press the reset button, and that's kind of sounds like what you're talking about here, in terms of United going for the league, in terms of United maybe even making top four, going deep in competitions, that ends for a couple of seasons at least.
Yeah, if I'm honest, I'd rather have that and build a squad that's going to challenge for a title than just challenge for top four.
Yeah. How much, Gareth? How much sort of extenuating circumstances do you put for Erik ten Hag in terms of what he's had to deal with this year? So, the takeover, is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? Now we know what's happened with that. Issues with players off the field, some issues with players on the field, so many injuries. How much leeway do you give him for that?
He can't be to blame for everything. There is obviously a lot of extraneous circumstances off the field which are out of his control, but in a way they can be his control. They're his players. If that was Sir Alex Ferguson in that role, that would never have happened.
Maybe so.
If that had happened, they've been out the door.
Cheers, Gareth. Appreciate your call. Thank you very, very much. You touched on it there, and let's talk about it now. You mentioned the stadium and sort of problems with the club. So Jim Ratcliffe and this takeover said, look, they're going to try and pump in 237 million into sorting out your dilapidated stadium.
It's enough for a lick of paint, that.
Yeah.
Don't even think it's enough to fix the roof.
What do you make of this then? Go on, explain it to me. This Wembley of the North. Yeah.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're there week in, week out. I've not been to Old Trafford for ages. Is it as dilapidated as people say?
Yeah.
It's bad, yeah?
Do you know what? I think what's really important as a Manchester United fan when discussing what should happen to Old Trafford and its current state and where we should go with it, I think you have to separate, which is difficult to do, the emotion and the memories that you have connected to it of what going to the stadium brings you and what you know it to be.
Yeah, but you're not knocking it down. You're not going to completely press the the nuke button on it.
What do you mean?
You're just going to.
That's what's being proposed.
Wow.
Yeah. It's either 800. It's either 800 million to revamp just the Sir Bobby Charlton stand, by the way, just one stand, or 1.5 to 2 billion pounds. It's been reported to build a whole new one just behind it, not move site. That's a debate for Manchester United fans. Now, here's the thing: for me, as a United fan, I want Manchester United to be the biggest and best in class. That's what Manchester United was. We, like what Gabriel Bonhor always reminds us of, we don't get to say that anymore. We can't talk about league titles. We can't talk about just the name being enough. We miss out on huge big targets like Erling Haaland and Jude Bellingham. And Jude Bellingham was wheeled out into Carrington and met Sir Alex Ferguson and said, no thanks, I'll go to Dortmund. That's Manchester United's fall from grace. You can't attract the best players, right? And in terms of a stadia, Manchester United, I believe, I'm going to be biased here, is the biggest club in the land. So if we want our club to be known as that, we can't just say it when it's not anymore. It has to reflect that. Look at Barcelona and Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Barcelona and Real Madrid are powerhouses, and Manchester United are right up there with those two.
Agreed.
Right? So Barcelona, with all of the financial problems they've had, by the way,
getting a new stadium done.
You think we're going to let Real Madrid do that?
Yeah.
Do you think we'll pull any form of economic lever now? We're knocking down the new camp. Ronaldinho's played there. Messi's played there. You don't see the Barca fans rioting saying, what about our history and this, that and the other? We want to get back to being the best. So for me, Manchester United have to get a better stadium, rebuild it.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.